Good evening. We're following major developments in the Middle East tonight, where escalating tensions between Iran, Israel, and their respective allies are reshaping the region's political and military landscape. We'll break down the latest military strikes, diplomatic fallout, and what it all means for global stability. The family of a 2-year-old boy in Gaza is making serious allegations tonight against Israeli soldiers, claiming the child was tortured during an interrogation aimed at extracting information about his father, according to the family's account. The toddler was subjected to abuse in an attempt to coerce details about a relative's whereabouts or activities. The allegations add to mounting concerns about conduct during military operations in Gaza, where humanitarian organizations have documented numerous incidents involving civilians, including children. International law strictly prohibits torture under all circumstances, particularly involving minors, and such actions could constitute war crimes under the Geneva Conventions. The Israeli military has not yet responded to these specific allegations. However, the incident underscores the broader scrutiny facing Israeli forces over civilian treatment during the ongoing conflict. Human rights groups have called for independent investigations into such claims, while the family is seeking accountability and justice. These allegations come as international pressure continues to mount regarding civilian casualties and treatment of detainees in the Gaza conflict. FIFA has fined the Israel Football Association for racism and discrimination breaches, according to a report submitted by Palestinian football authorities. The sanctions follow an investigation into conduct violations during international matches and organizational practices. The Palestinian Football Association formally called for Israel's suspension from FIFA competitions, arguing that the discrimination findings warrant stronger action than financial penalties alone. They contend that systematic issues within Israeli football governance require more severe consequences to ensure compliance with FIFA's anti-discrimination standards. FIFA's disciplinary process typically involves fines and warnings before considering suspension, a step reserved for the most serious violations. The organization has faced criticism from both sides of the Israeli-Palestinian divide over how it handles complaints and enforces its codes of conduct. This case highlights the intersection of sports governance and geopolitical tensions, where athletic competition becomes a flashpoint for broader conflicts. The outcome of this dispute could set precedent for how international sports bodies address discrimination allegations involving nations in active conflict. Lebanon's prime minister stated today that Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is directly commanding Hezbollah operations, a claim backed by regional analysts who say Tehran is effectively calling the shots in Lebanese politics and military affairs. This revelation underscores the deepening control Iran exercises over one of the region's most powerful militant organizations. The IRGC's command structure over Hezbollah has long been suspected, but the Prime Minister's public acknowledgement represents a significant shift in how Lebanese officials are discussing the relationship. Analysts say this dynamic fundamentally shapes Lebanese governance, as Hezbollah's political wing holds substantial parliamentary seats and ministerial positions, meaning Iranian interests directly influence state decisions. This arrangement complicates Lebanon's already fragile political situation, where the country struggles with economic collapse, political gridlock, and now heightened military tensions with Israel. The IRGC's operational control means Iranian strategic calculations directly impact Lebanese security and foreign policy. For Lebanon's government, this creates an impossible balancing act between maintaining stability, respecting Hezbollah's political role, and managing international pressure. The situation raises questions about Lebanese sovereignty and whether the state can function independently of Iranian-backed militia interests. Iranian missiles have struck Israeli territory as the broader conflict continues to inflict significant economic damage across the region. The direct military exchanges between Iran and Israel represent a dangerous escalation, with each side demonstrating willingness to conduct strikes on the other's homeland. The economic consequences extend far beyond the immediate combatants. Global oil markets have reacted to supply concerns, shipping routes face increased risk, and international businesses are reassessing operations throughout the Middle East. Insurance costs for maritime commerce have risen sharply, and investors are pulling back from regional projects due to uncertainty. For Israel specifically, the Iranian strikes have forced significant military mobilization and air defense deployments, straining resources and the economy. Defense spending has surged, and the threat of further Iranian retaliation keeps the country in a state of heightened alert. The psychological impact on Israeli civilians shouldn't be underestimated either, as communities face the reality of potential missile attacks. Meanwhile, the broader regional instability threatens to drag other nations into the conflict, potentially creating a wider war that would have catastrophic economic and humanitarian consequences far beyond the Middle East. Former French ambassador to the United States Gerard Araud is arguing that Europe is right to resist American pressure to join military operations against Iran. Araud contends that the U.S. and Israel are pursuing a conflict strategy that doesn't serve European interests or security. The Trump administration has reportedly sought greater European involvement in confronting Iranian threats, whether through military support, economic sanctions, or diplomatic isolation. However, European nations have largely maintained distance from direct military engagement, preferring diplomatic channels and multilateral approaches through the United Nations and international agreements. Iran's position reflects broader European skepticism about being drawn into Middle Eastern conflicts that could destabilize the continent and divert resources from other security priorities. Europe faces its own challenges, including tensions with Russia and internal economic concerns. The former ambassador argues that Europe should pursue independent foreign policy rather than automatically aligning with American military objectives. This transatlantic disagreement highlights fundamental differences in how the US and Europe view Middle Eastern strategy, with Europe favoring restraint and diplomacy over military escalation. Iran has appointed Mohammad Bagher Zolgadar, a former Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps commander, as the new chief of the Supreme National Security Council. Zolgadar replaces Ali Larijani, who was killed in what Iran characterizes as a US-Israeli operation. Zolgadar brings significant military and security credentials to the position, having served in senior IRGC roles overseeing strategic operations. His appointment signals Iran's intent to maintain hardline security policies and continue confrontational postures toward Israel and the United States. The choice reflects Iran's preference for experienced military figures in top security positions during this period of heightened tensions. The succession comes at a critical moment, as Iran faces direct military threats and must coordinate responses across multiple fronts, including support for Hezbollah in Lebanon and other regional proxies. Zolgadar's background suggests Iran will likely pursue aggressive security strategies, rather than seeking de-escalation. His appointment also demonstrates Iran's institutional continuity, despite targeted killings of senior officials. International observers will be watching closely to see whether his leadership brings any shifts in Iranian policy or if the country maintains its current trajectory of military escalation and regional expansion. An Israeli military strike hit a building in the Lebanese city of Tyre today, with smoke visible rising near ancient Roman ruins in the area. The strike represents continued Israeli military operations extending into Lebanese territory, raising concerns about damage to irreplaceable historical sites. Tyre is home to significant archaeological treasures, including well-preserved Roman ruins that are protected UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Military operations in proximity to these locations risk destroying invaluable historical artifacts and cultural heritage. The incident highlights how modern conflicts in densely populated regions with historical significance create impossible choices between military objectives and cultural preservation. Lebanon's already fragile infrastructure and economy cannot absorb additional damage from military strikes. The country is struggling with economic collapse and political dysfunction, and escalating Israeli operations threaten to worsen the humanitarian crisis. The proximity of strikes to civilian areas and historical sites raises questions about targeting precision and proportionality under international humanitarian law. As tensions between Israel and Hezbollah continue to escalate, the risk of further strikes in populated Lebanese areas grows, potentially causing significant civilian casualties and irreversible damage to the region's cultural heritage. We've covered significant developments tonight, spanning military operations, diplomatic tensions, and the deepening involvement of major powers in Middle Eastern conflicts. From allegations of abuse in Gaza, to Iran's military command structure in Lebanon, to direct strikes between Iran and Israel, the region faces unprecedented instability. These stories underscore how quickly regional tensions can escalate, and the far-reaching consequences for civilians, economies, and international stability.